we in the LGBTQ community are starving for good representation. While queer voices are slowly but surely being elevated to where we're beginning to see our stories in media, we still have a long way to go. In fact, LGBTQ characters and protagonists in genre fiction like superhero films, action movies, animated films, and horror movies remain slim pickings, and as a result, LGBTQ folks adore fictional characters who are technically non-canonically queer but have story arcs or characteristics relatable to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and trans people. Thus, why these characters and stories, while not being explicitly queer, are held in high regard by the LGBTQ community. The most current and most prominent one of these non-official queer characters in the news is Elsa from the Frozen movies. Elsa has been a non-official queer icon since the first Frozen in 2013, and once examining her character, it's easy to understand why. She has no love interest, which in our hetero love smooch obsessed children's fiction is peculiar, especially for a princess. More importantly, Elsa undergoes a dramatic character arc where she is essentially ashamed of herself due to how she was born with ice powers, and she bottles up her feelings, much like how LGBTQ folks do when in the closet, all until Elsa sings her coming out belter Let It Go to announce that she's not ashamed of the way she is anymore. Aww. With that, it's easy to understand why Elsa has been canonized as a queer icon since she debuted in 2013, and now with Frozen 2 out, Disney finally had the chance to let Elsa come out of the closet officially and be that LGBTQ icon in narrative, just as she is a queer hero outside of it. Hell, ever since the first trailer dropped, LGBTQ folks have been buzzing at the possibility of finally having a character that's like us on screen. Finally. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. While Frozen didn't deny Elsa's potential queer identity, the movie didn't confirm her as a lesbian or bisexual either. Like the first film, Elsa doesn't have any romantic interest, meaning that Frozen 2 hasn't confirmed her as either being gay or straight, which is a cop-out in my mind. After all that internal build-up, Frozen 2's lack of a queer Elsa was sad and predictable. This move was predictable in the sense that of course Disney wouldn't push the envelope that far. They're a family company by brand, and they couldn't risk upsetting parents with such obscenity as lesbian, bisexual, or asexual Elsa. It would be too much for those bigoted hearts to bear. Their children look up to Elsa, therefore she needs to be straight. Oh, the manatee! Also something Chinese censorship, something corporate cowardice. Instead, Disney is in the same place as it has been for years by having characters of minimal importance be LGBTQ. Like see this guy and his family in the first Frozen, or Josh Gad touching a guy at the end of the live-action Beauty and the Beast, or as a Vox article by Emily Todd Vanderwerf pointed out, that supposedly big LGBTQ moment in Avengers Endgame regarding a character credited as a grieving man. It was such a big moment. I kind of missed it the first time around, while my theater clapped at everything. Woo! Kidding aside, while I'm not surprised by Disney's repeated lack of commitments to queer lead characters, I'm undoubtedly disappointed. In terms of genre films, there is a drought of LGBTQ leads, and speaking for myself, I'm famished. For the longest time, the LGBTQ community has been in a holding pattern in terms of representation. Like for example, in the Marvel movies, there was an unconfirmed LGBTQ character in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, there was Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok who is bi, but isn't confirmed so in the narrative, and even has a deleted scene that was cut out that would have explained her as such. Hell, the internet, and myself included, wants Captain Marvel to be her girlfriend, and come on, they make such a goddamn gorgeous couple. And combined with the subtle nods throughout Disney's other movies, I'm just getting really fucking tired of this shit. And it's easy to understand why the LGBTQ community is so attached to some of these characters, despite how those characters aren't confirmed as LGBTQ in narrative. We basically love them because that's all we've really got. We're kind of desperate for characters that are like us. We're so deprived of heroes of our own that we take queer-coded characters as being icons and do what companies like Disney won't and correctly interpret their characters as LGBTQ. And can you really blame us? The amount of lesbian, gay, bi, and trans characters are so minimal that we get excited about headcanon. And yeah, I know it's kind of sad, but that's all we've really got. And speaking for myself, I want to see a protagonist on screen that's someone like me. And yet we've been in this pattern by having like just side throwaway characters that are queer but not heroes in our own right for so long that I'm just fucking tired of this shit. Because when it comes to big name LGBTQ superheroes, Disney princesses, or other protagonists on the big screen, there aren't any. And that's the rub. After Frozen 2, where Disney had a chance to finally break this ceiling, they fucking dropped the ball. While Elsa remains a queer icon, she isn't so in narrative. What a fucking bummer.